in the star drive section was a big task.
Aye, the fact you built the structure on its side, as it were, and then combined the two sides together was highly original.
Well, here's hoping that kind of originality continues with the saucer section.
Considering I got it all wrong with the star drive section.
Don't sell yourself short, McCluck. You did end up figuring out what was going on with the construction before any of us did.
Well, I'm gonna play it safe this time nonetheless. After all, the start is already confusing. It's not even obvious which is the top side and which is the underside.
That's right! We've got studs on pretty much every side, which is not something you see every day.
Come on, Gigi, it's nothing new. It's known as studs on the side construction.
Yes, I know, but that's usually for small sections of a build. Here it seems to be an integral part of the design throughout.
And again, I know the distinct lack of Technic bricks. This is all regular brick and plate work.
I must say, I've got no idea what to expect. We've got an ingot piece here, for instance. Why is it there? Although it's good that we have different colored bricks to represent different types of connections. The white and red ones have studs on both sides, for instance, while the tan and blue ones only have studs on a single side.
Makes it so much easier to find the right ones you're after from a pile of available bricks when you're following the instructions.
Oh, you don't organize your bricks by type and color before building? Why should we, Gigi? That's a bit of a waste of time if you ask me.
Plus, sorting just isn't needed when the designers thought of that and provided specific bricks in different colors.
I wonder what those red 1x1 round plates are all about. They're all over the build.
Hopefully this will all be revealed soon enough.
Although if back 17's anything to go by, it won't be that soon.
Well, the build is progressing, obviously, but it's interesting how instead of a tiled surface, the designer uses bricks on their side to achieve a similar effect. I remember an interview with him where he said that bricks on their side led to a much stronger build, so he must have taken that to heart.
We've also got plates placed along the rest of the length of that construct, with some extending out.
And we still have no clue as to where this section will end up.
One possibility? We could be building it upside down right now, and that smooth surface at one end could be the contact point for the top of the neck of the star drive section. Ooh, I like that theory.
And Bag 18 shows us that your theory was correct, Captain.
Just a sec, Mouse. First, it's important to note that having studs everywhere means the build can happen in any orientation at any time. A lot of progress has been made here for sure. In order to achieve it, a lot of small side builds are assembled, riddled with many weird shapes and colors, and then connected to the larger build when done.
I'm still impressed. No Technic parts are being used for rigidity.
We know, McCluck. You've said it quite a few times already.
I know! And I keep saying it because I still can't believe it.
Well, it's good engineering and good design. Here, let's take a closer look at what will end up being the main shuttle bay. That hole leading to a brick with a cross-axle hole in it, that's what will be used to secure the saucer section to the star drive section. Only that? Will that work exactly?
Well, that's another thing I find hard to believe, and I can't wait to test it out when it's complete.
You and me both, Commander. Now, a lot of stickers are being used with this bag. We've got the registry number by the shuttle bay's exit, and that one here wasn't particularly pain to apply. It represents the windows of the Arboretum, but that thin sticker had to be applied all along the middle of a large slanted piece. Not the most ideal thing to do correctly.
Why, oh why couldn't they just do prints? Stingy bastards.
And speaking of stingy, around the other side is the sticker that's causing so much controversy.
It's supposed to represent the ship's dedication plaque, but quality control isn't what it used to be, and Lego left a typo.
Only the best is good enough, eh?
Yeah, it says Boldigo instead of boldly.
That's so embarrassing.
Well, you want to hear what's worse? Lego are offering a replacement sticker with the typo fixed for those who want it.
Why is that worse?
Because, rather than just fixing the typo, they redid the entire sticker, making it worse as a result. They removed the oval behind the arrowhead symbol and did away with the rivets on each corner.
You had one job, Lego.
It's almost as if they don't care. To be frank, it's pretty embarrassing of them to be sure, but at the end of the day, who cares?
I'm pretty shocked to hear you speak like that, Captain.
Why not? When the build is finished, that sticker will no longer be visible, as there will be no easy way to access it. It'll be hidden. Forever. So, really, who cares? If it was on the display stand with the minifigs, that would be a different story. But it's not.
Why make you apply a sticker you'll never see again?
Why indeed? Now, Bag 19 brings us a new character in the form of Lieutenant Commander Data.
One of the show's favorite characters.
He sports a golden uniform, of course, and a pale tan-colored face to match his weird android texture. He has two facial expressions, but they're so subtle, it's hard to tell which is which.
You can see it in the eyebrows, Captain. One is quizzical, and the other more stern.
I'm not sure I like his hollow eyes. I mean, usually LEGO uses that style to depict blind characters. I'm not sure it works for Data.
Whether it works or not, it's what we have. And Data comes with his cat Spot as an accessory.
I think it would have been better had they used a kitten mold instead, as the standard-sized cats are just so huge.
Well, you can always swap it if you prefer.
I might just do that.
As for the build, the bag's main purpose was to extend the central section, strengthening it with long tan plates.
The diagonal pieces were quite easy to assemble, even if the instructions weren't 100% clear as to where they should go, but once you connect one end, it becomes obvious what the other end needs to attach to.
The only downside is that they're pretty fragile when you move the build around. Now, I know this will likely be secured in time, but for now, as you turn the model around to add more pieces, other parts can and do easily come apart, and then you have a hell of a time trying to figure out where they're supposed to go.
In an unusual move for this particular set, bags 20 and 21 are being combined and used at the same time rather than one after the other.
Sounds like a big section of the saucer is going to be built with them.
Well, the first part of the instructions makes us build a couple of pretty large side pieces out of a myriad of colors.
Which, as always, makes it easy to find the pieces we need to assemble them properly.
And once again, we end up with studs both at the top and on the underside.
The engineering of this model is pretty darn impressive.
Once built, these get attached to the central edge of the main structure.
Looks like we're expanding the oval.
I wonder how big it's going to get.
You'll see very shortly, Gigi. After that, we get round to building 4 very similar, although slightly smaller extensions, which attach diagonally thanks to a couple of hinge plates for each of them.
The mathematics to design this must have been impressive.
What pieces are left after that are used to strengthen the connection of those spindly extensions to the main body. And that's it for those 2 bags.
And with them, you start to get a good idea of just how big the saucer's gonna be.
Now it looks like we just need to fill the gaps between the spindly extensions.
Before we get round to that, Gigi, bag 22 takes us back to the underside and... McCluck, you're not going to like this, but it involves stickers.
I've got used to stickers on this model, Captain.
Okay, but how about stickers that must be applied to only part of a tile?
What, like the dreaded Arboretum windows? It's a massive pain, but I can deal.
Right, and what if a design spans 2 tiles, and the 2 stickers need to be applied perfectly to each tile so it looks seamless once done?
What the hell? Ugh, that's it. I'm out of here.
Is he really going?
I'm sure he'll be back for the next bag. Now, I want to spend a little time looking at the plate work. Look at all the angled plates and how they fit perfectly with one another so that there's no gaps.
I have to tell you, I'm impressed.
What a shame McCluck isn't here. He certainly would have appreciated all those angles.
Oh, what's that yellow glow in the center for?
I'm not sure, but as this is where the captain's yacht is supposed to be, could this be a secret play feature?
Bag 23 brings us the man of the hour, the top dog of the ship, the captain himself, Jean-Luc Picard.
He sports a red uniform and, of course, his famous tea Earl Grey hot.
Okay, that is something we should address.
Well, hello, Patrick. What can we do for you?
Well, everybody knows Patrick Stewart is British, so him drinking tea is not an issue. But Jean-Luc Picard, he is supposed to be a Frenchman. We French do not drink that piss water. We drink coffee. What is up with all that tea drinking, I ask you?
Coffee is Genoa's signature drink, Patrick, not Picard's.
There's coffee in that nebula.
Yanks are not the only one drinking coffee, you know.
Well, Picard got seriously Britishized when Stewart took on the role. I mean, he certainly doesn't sound like you now, does he?
That is correct. He does not sound as sexy as I. Accents and beverages aside, there's something missing from this figure.
Welcome back, McCluck.
You're talking about the bald piece, right?
Damn right I am. Picard in the series had a crown of greyish-white hair, and such a piece certainly exists in LEGO's inventory, so why not include it? If piece count was an issue, I know a couple of 1x1 tiles that could have been swapped for a 1x2 to keep the number the same, you know.
I agree, its omission is a puzzle. But this being Lego, there's nothing stopping us from adding it ourselves.
Good man.
Well, doesn't it make him look a little too old, though?
You're right, Gigi, it does. But I have a solution. That piece actually appeared for a single character in dark gray.
You're right, it was Alfred from the Lego Batman movie.
Alfred appeared in 4 different sets between 2017 and 2018, sporting different outfits, but always that gray-haired, balding piece.
I can't believe I'd forgotten about that piece. Picard does look much better with it. Excellent find, Mouse.
Thank you, Captain.
Moving on to the bag's pieces, just like we filled in the central part of the underside, we're now doing the same for the top side.
Which is when we say goodbye to the typoed sticker.
And I ask you again, why have a sticker on the inside? And there's not even a way to easily take parts off to see it again. It's forever trapped inside the build. Absurd decision, if you ask me.
We're all in agreement on this, McCluck.
So, the parts used to fill in the top are the same as those for the underside, leading to the same satisfying finish.
Looks pretty good.
The bridge is also added, and the stud at the very top must represent the ceiling window we sometimes see from the bridge.
Nice attention to detail.
And brace yourself, McCluck. This registry number is a print.
What? If they could do it for that one, why not for the others?
Lack of care for their customers.
And greed. We've been through this already, McCluck.
There's also a little play feature of sorts. You can reveal the hanger by removing the large top tile.
You're stretching the definition of play feature there, bud.
To be honest, I don't really understand the point of it. There's really nothing much to see in there, and it's not even hiding any mechanical feature or anything.
It's puzzling, no doubt about it. Okay, let's pop round to the underside for a sec, as it's time to add the captain's yacht.
Which involves the final sticker.
And it attaches to that claw piece, Mouse.
Can it be removed?
Not without removing the tiles around it, no. But I understand they needed an oval piece for it, and the only one available had a clip on its underside, so that's what they used.
Fair enough.
And now's the time to build that little part that's designed to securely attach the saucer section to the star drive.
That tiny shuttle on a stick? Ooh, can we try it now?
Let's give it a go. So, here's the star drive section. And remarkably, the saucer section stays in place pretty much like that without even having to use that key to lock it into place.
Let's connect it anyway, shall we?
Of course, that's what we're here for.
Seamless, amazing engineering.
So, having completed the saucer's main central section, it's finally time to fill in the gaps.
Oh, it's about time the saucer section stopped looking like a spider.
I know, right? I've been meaning to say that, but I didn't want to trigger any arachnophobes in the audience.
The way this is done is pretty clever. You create a section, which is essentially a large hinge, which you then connect to those yellow and dark gray clips. And it's done.
Not only does it fit in that space quite well, but it also creates that slanted look the original has, with the saucer's center being raised higher than its outer edges.
Clever.
Bag 25 gives us the same clever large custom hinges to keep fitting in the saucer's edge.
Considering the rate at which we're going, I bet it'll take a couple more bags to finish the entire fitting in project.
I have to admit, the novelty of creating those hinge plates, and they are novel indeed, don't get me wrong, but the whole process sure does get repetitive very fast, not to mention a little tiring.
I guess that was inevitable considering that specific part of the construction, but on the plus side, the build up to now has been pretty interesting and entertaining, with not a dull or tedious moment.
Until now.
Yeah, until now. But in order to break the monotony of this current process, Bag 25 also gives us Deanna Troi.
A pre-Jellicoe Deanna, before she wore a proper uniform.
Oh, she looks so good in her uniform. Makes you wonder why she wasn't given one sooner.
She's represented here in a purple jumpsuit she often wore.
She has amazing hair.
A bit too big, if you ask me, but that's hardly regulation.
Deanna had a lot of hair, McCluck.
Isn't that Izzy's hairpiece from the Dreams theme?
I do believe it is, Gigi. Only recolored to black.
She also has two facial expressions, a neutral one and a really happy one.
That's when she spies a chocolate cake.
And she also holds a pad made of a printed 1x2 tile.
The precursor of digital tablets.
It's a cool print with what looks like an analysis of a 1x1 brick.
Could it actually be a Borg cube?
Foreshadowing of a forthcoming set, maybe?
Your guess is as good as mine, guys. Now, with the four-section complete thanks to bags 24 and 25, it's time to work on the aft.
We found the building process of those big hinges was very similar to the others we've already built, so we're not going to be spending too much time on them now.
So, with that in mind, here's what the saucer looks after bag 26, and after bag 27.
Looking good, Cap.
From the top side, absolutely. But, despite the fact these large custom hinges supposedly work to cover both sides of the saucer, turn the model over and it's a whole different story.
Great iridescent egg, we still have a bunch more work to do.
Yes, McCluck, we've got a bit of a ways to go.
Well, that's why we have 3 more bags to get through.
But first, bag 28 unveils our 8th character, Security Officer Lieutenant Worf.
Ah, der beste Sicherheitsbeamte. Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
Well, as long as he wasn't too grumpy.
Kriegsgaming tight. Führt zum Sieg.
Kapla!
The uniform is a variant of the gold one as it's adorned with his sash.
Also known as a baldric, it was a symbol of his Klingon heritage and represented his lineage.
Worf, son of Mog, House of Martok, son of Sergei, House of Rozhenko, Bane of the Duras family, Slayer of Garon.
Many of those accolades happened after TNG finished its run, Gigi.
Yeah! Spoilers? Much?
Oops.
Circling back to the minifig, being Klingon, Worf had his species' distinctive head ridges, represented here by a specially molded piece.
Funny how the Klingons were initially represented as humans with dark makeup, but when the first motion picture came out and suddenly those forehead ridges appeared, no one batted an eyelid.
Would you not discuss it with outsiders?
Yeah, I get that, Worf.
The point I was trying to make, McCluck, was Lego made a special mold for his forehead, but decided to use a couple of regular pieces for his phaser, and I have to say, I am not impressed.
Yeah, despite their apparent pacifistic tendencies, not wanting to portray or celebrate war and such.
A noble sentiment.
Totally. And yet, LEGO have created a bunch of custom molds for so many weapons over the years. So why couldn't they just make a molded piece for Star Trek's phaser?
They did print that cheese wedge.
Yes, Gigi, they did print it. Wow, I'm so impressed.
If it's any consolation, the set includes duplicates of those two parts, so you could assemble a second brick-built phaser and hand it over to any one of the other characters.
It's not really a consolation, Captain, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Issues with that phaser aside, Worf also comes with a couple of expressions. One which I must confess, if you look at it without the head ridges, would make the figure look more like Benjamin Sisko than anyone else.
True, and I'd love it if they released a Defiant with Sisko in command.
Who knows what the future will bring?
Let's focus on the present, guys, and this build, which, unlike a LEGO Defiant, most certainly exists.
So on top of that human expression, his other one is his more gnarly self.
Which is perfectly fitting. A snarl worthy of a Klingon warrior.
As for Bag 28's pieces, they focus on filling in the outer edge of the saucer's underside, and it does that with a bunch of large tiles and wedge pieces. Their build is more complex than they look, with two parts being held together thanks to a single hinged piece.
Not very secure, that.
The hinge is held to the other parts thanks to two 10 2x3 plates, which I only used one of here to show the design.
And once you've connected it to the saucer section, it's even sturdier.
And guess what? Just like bags 24, 25, 26, and 27 were pretty much the same constructs over and over again, bags 28 and 29 are used to create the same types of build to fill in that saucer sections on the side.
I disagree, McCluck. Yes, the little builds are very similar, but unlike the hinge pieces we built over the course of those 4 bags, here we did get some variety which kept the build interesting, like around the aft section thanks to those orange-red thrusters.
Okay, I'll grant you that minor difference. But Bag 29 was used to create 4 other sections, with half of them being the exact copies of the other 2.
Yeah, I can't deny it, it was repetitive. Not as repetitive as the last set of bags, but repetitive nonetheless.
Disappointing way to finish a build.
But it still offered some original ways of doing things. Like, I really liked how hinges are used to secure wedge plates together, and how those 1x1x2 bricks are used to provide side connections for future parts. So, there's that.
And on the plus side, it's only 2 small bags, which kept the monotony to a minimum.
I quite enjoyed the fact the top side and the underside were built differently. I mean, Yes, it was repetitive, but it was still interesting.
And with Bag 29 done, I'm afraid the saucer looks more like an octagonal than it does an oval.
Hopefully, that's what the last bag is here to fix.
And before we apply the saucer's final touches, Bag 30 introduces us to our ninth and final character, Guinan.
The mysterious bartender with her mysterious connection to Captain Picard.
Whoopi Goldberg actually begged Gene Roddenberry for a part on the show, and this enigmatic character was the result.
An enigmatic character with many, many hats.
Her hat-hair combo here is yet another new mold. And you're telling me there was no budget for a proper phaser?
Still on that, McCluck.
I feel it's still worth moaning about.
And she comes with a bottle of green liquid.
This was actually an unexpectedly long-running joke in the Star Trek universe. All the way back in the original series, in the episode named By Any Other Name, which aired in 1968, Scotty attempted to get the upper hand over one of his captors by drinking him under the table, and, running out of beverages, he found this one.
What is it? Well, it's green.
Then, in the Next Generation episode Relics, which aired 24 years later, Scotty, again, is in 10 forward, and Data offers him a proper alcoholic drink, but he's having trouble identifying it.
What is it? It is... It is green.
But it's not like this green beverage is a mystery, as Picard himself revealed its name a little later on in that episode.
Aldebaran whiskey. Who do you think gave it to Guinan?
And here it is, Aldebaran whiskey, immortalized in plastic 33 years later.
Guinan also sports two facial expressions, giving us a smiling Guinan and one with an open smile.
So, with the last figure added to the crew, it's time to finish our build.
And for that, we've got a bunch of curved pieces in two sizes with prints on their sides.
Lucky they're prints! Imagine having to apply stickers to all those edges.
And once again, if they could do prints for those, why not for the others? It's a rhetorical question, Guy. I know why, and it still sucks.
And those curved pieces, coupled with a handful of plates and bricks, are added to the edges to turn an octagonal into an oval.
The end result really is good looking.
The top side looks very sleek, and those long tubes are used to replicate the Enterprise's phaser array.
Yeah, about that. It's a nice touch, don't get me wrong, but flip this also over and, where's its phaser array? There was one on both sides, you know. Why make the effort to put one on the dorsal surface, but not on the ventral one?
Is it mockable?
We might have to look into that. In the meantime, if you look at it from its edge, it looks pretty darn good.
I can see 10 forward from here.
So tell me, what do you think of this saucer section? Do let us know in the comments, and if you like what we do,
and how we do it,
and you feel you'd like to help us out,
please consider joining our Patreon.
We will leave a link to it in the description below.
Thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you again next time. For God's sakes, the hinge is held